Coming into this season, the Erie Otters were a very fascinating team to follow. They had that long playoff drought. Their last postseason appearance was in 2017 when they won the OHL championship over the Mississauga Steelheads. So coming into 2023-24, their ultimate goal was to make the playoffs. And I had that interview at the start of the season with play-by-play voice Sean Bednard, and he was telling us about how this team felt different going in. They just had the first overall selection where they brought in Matthew Schaefer. They also had the first overall import selection, Martin Misiak, who's a prospect of the Chicago Blackhawks. So this team, they were buying into the systems that were put in place by head coach Stan Butler. And they also ended up trading for overage goaltender Ben Gaudreau from the Sarnia Sting because they're a team that was looking to rebuild. And Gaudreau being an overager, he fit in quite nicely with this Erie Otters team. So they had the pieces in place to make it to the playoffs. And they had a few moments there where things were a little bit questionable. They had a couple of losing streaks, also losing the services of Gaudreau after the OHL trade deadline in January put their season into a little bit of doubt. They ended up going through a string of goaltenders uh, through the months of January and February before Ethan Frazier started to take over there in between the pipes. And then they ended up finishing fifth overall in the Western Conference standings. It was a successful year to make the playoffs. That was their goal. And they were also viewed as a team nobody really wanted to face in the opening round of the postseason. The Erie Insurance Arena, probably one of the more intimidating facilities to visit as an away team. It's the loudest rink in the OHL. Those fans, of course, desperate for playoff hockey, and they were rewarded with the Kitchener Rangers in the first round. And in that first round, Otters, they gave Kitchener everything they could handle. And with that, they were the last team to be eliminated from the first round of the playoffs. The Erie Otters losing in overtime in Game 6. So for the Otters, this is a young team. They learned a lot from this experience, and I think this team is going to take another step forward going into next season. So looking at the top 10 scorers this year, Pano Fimis, he led the way. 25 goals, 51 assists, good for 76 points. Fimis, of course, the former Niagara Ice Dog, and really comfortable playing with this Erie Otters organization. Malcolm Spence, second in scoring, 19 goals, 43 assists, good for 62 points. Sam Alfano, the former Peterborough Pete, 27 goals, 33 assists, 60 points. Kerry Torrance, he was a fun player to follow with the Erie Otters. He had some health issues during the regular season, but ended up 29 goals, 23 assists, 52 points. Andre Molnar, another great addition there as an import, 19 goals, 33 assists, 52 points. Brett Brissett, 17 goals on the season, 27 assists, 44 points. Alexis Davio, he had 7 goals, 30 assists, good for 37 points. Bruce McDonald, he was ninth in scoring with 18 goals, 17 assists, 35 points. And then Dylan Edwards, 10th in scoring with 22 goals, 12 assists, 34 points. But the storyline late in the season was the goaltending. I'm not going to go over the numbers of every goaltender that appeared in a Erie Otters jersey, but here are the standouts. Of course, Ben Gaudreau, he had a record of 21, 11, and 2, a 3.31 goals against average, 889 save percentage. Jacob Gibbons, he had a 5-7-1 record, 511 goals against, an 819 save percentage. So numbers for Gibbons, I'm sure he'd like to see improved. Ethan Frazier, who took over late in the season going into the playoffs, he had a record of 6-1-1 and 2, a 2.96 goals against average, 904 save percentage. He had the best goal numbers out of the goaltenders who appeared for the Erie Otters. And then Charlie Burns, a late pickup at the OHL trade deadline from the Niagara Ice Dogs. Burns had a record of 2-4, and he had a 4.80 goals against average and 848 save percentage. And Charlie Burns helped leading the Fort Erie Meteors at the GOJHL playoffs. They won their conference championship, and Burns a big factor in that win. I think for the Erie Otters, this is going to be a pickup they're going to look back on and be really happy about. I was really confused as to why Niagara traded him at the deadline, but the Erie Otters getting a great young goaltender, and we'll see what he can do going into next season because, of course, Ben Gaudreau, one of the overagers who are graduating this season, along with Brett Brissett and Owain Johnston. So those are the 3 players graduating for Erie. And then you look at the overage candidates for next season, and they've got some interesting options here. Starting off, Caleb Smith, Sam Alfano, Martin Misiak, he's an import and the Chicago Blackhawks draft pick, so I don't expect Misiak back in the OHL next season, but if he did come back, that'd be a big plus for the Erie Otters. Also, Bruce McDonald, Pano Fimis, who led the team in scoring, and Spencer Sova. So some interesting decisions to be made here when it comes to the overagers for the Erie Otters, but all of them great candidates for next year, bringing a lot of potential for this lineup. At the draft, the Erie Otters, they decided to go with Tyler Challenger, the 10th overall selection. Love the name for a hockey player. He's a decent-sized winger. He stands 6'1", 195 pounds, so he's got that size. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates to the Ontario Hockey League. He ended up playing with the North York Rangers last season, and at the OHL Cup, he had 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points in 6 games. So I think Challenger should make the lineup going into next season, maybe third, fourth line, but still going to get some great experience with this Erie Otters team. And really, Otters right now on paper, I think they have probably the most potential heading into next year with how things are looking. And I would not be surprised to see the Erie Otters challenging for top spot in the Western Conference. Obviously, the London Knights will probably be there again, so that's going to be interesting at the top of the Midwest Division. Then there's the question marks about the Kitchener Rangers. Who are they bringing back? You expect Owen Sound to maybe take a step back along with the Guelph Storm. So the way things are looking right now, we could be looking at maybe Erie, London battling for top spot in the Midwest Division. So exciting times ahead, I believe, for this Erie Otters hockey team. That's how I see it from the booth. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on the Erie Otters going forward. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And we'll talk to you again soon.